you have here are all wonderful, fantastic ideas. But we must restore baseline funding. Right now, many of our districts in this region cannot afford to have a full school year. And you've already heard some testimony about what's happened to class size over the last 10 years. Until we're able to make sure that every student in the state of Oregon can experience one of the shortest years in the country, but still a full school year, and that we can have reasonable class size, you're going to be building upon a foundation that cannot stand. So please restore our baseline funding first, and then let us work with you on the wonderful initiatives that you're proposing. Thank you.
My name is and I'm a school counselor at Eagle Point High School. I'm in my 19th year as an educator and 16th year as a school counselor. Tonight I want to urge you and encourage you to recognize and include school counselors in future conversations and discussions because of the fact that we're an integral part, K-12, in the initiatives that you're looking at. School counselors provide academic, career, personal, emotional support to all students, and particularly to that 40% of children born in Oregon identified as being exposed to the socioeconomic, physical, or relational risk factors that adversely impair their ability to develop the foundation of school success. We want to thank you for implementing the 5-year support plan for students to graduate. With the new diploma standards, we in our district are recognizing that we are going to have students that will take 5 years in order to meet those. I'd like to end by sharing with you a strategy that we implemented last year. We call it our B3 cubed, and it was actually a plan that we came up with as school counselors with the support of our assistant principal. We identified 24 students who were non-grad students. Those 24 students' parents received letters that they would not graduate, they would not meet the requirements for graduation. Those students were called in twice a month, and we met with them and we provided support. We communicated with their teachers. We discussed resources such as our tutoring program. We involved their parent, and we created an incentive by partnering with businesses in our local area, and they provided an end-of-the-year activity, which the students were able to go on a jet boat trip if they made graduation. I'm happy to report that 83% of those students graduated. And these are the type of interventions that we can provide and be part of in a discussion with this. Thank you.
AJ or PJ Company, Paul Fisher, Scott Perry, Michelle Muppet, Cornelius, please.
Hi, my name is PJ Happney. I've been an educator for 27 years, 7 years as a special ed teacher, 7 years as a child development specialist, and 13 years as a counselor at South Medford High School. Currently, I'm a freshman counselor at South, and my average caseload is 500 students each year. I find myself working with kids who are underachieving, kids with behaviors, and kids on the top end, and I miss the kids in the middle. The state of Oregon has asked us to do comprehensive guidance and counseling through OER 581-022-1510. So how our counselors at South get our comprehensive guidance is we create PowerPoints which are presented by teachers in the classroom on different topics, most of them dealing with college. We have college visits, announcements, and important test dates, things kids need to know in order to progress in high school and to go on to college. Once a month we have a program, grade specific, for information for kids, how to be successful in high school, read high school transcripts, college vocabulary. All this is disseminated through our teachers, but it's way more powerful when the counselors go in and give this information to them. Each year we work with our admin to target seniors who are not graduating. We've been very successful to get kids who are struggling and all other kids to graduation. Last year we had a 79.9% graduation rate, and the state average is 67.6, so we work very closely. Also, we've noticed since child development specialists and middle school counselors have been eliminated, that our students are coming to us with a lot more emotional issues that they need to deal with. And so if we had more counselors that would help us up through K through 12, we could implement and work harder to meet our 40-40-20. Thank you for your time.
Good evening, I'm Michelle Cornelius, and I'm a counselor also here in the Medford School District. And I'd first like to thank OEIB for giving us the opportunity to talk this evening, and also thank you to the audience for giving your time tonight to participate in what we're discussing as far as our future in education for our school. The first thing I would like to say is I'm addressing here also the need for counselors in the Oregon school system. That's a passion of mine. I've been in education for the last 30 years, starting off with Job Corps in Nevada, working and teaching at the university system in Nevada, community college level, adult education, and I've been in high school education as a classroom teacher and counselor in Medford School District since 1995. And to add to what PJ is addressing, my request too is to ask that you please consider and recommend to the governor that you bring in and provide for counselors through K through 12. And I had the slide put back up here because we're really dealing at the high school and middle school with reading through student transitions, essential skills, and global readiness. What I would like to address is that as a high school counselor, we all support and provide and guide our students to get to the end, which is to be successful, to earn a high school diploma, hopefully to go on to education, to a trade school, to find employment, or to go on into college. But in order for us to get those students to these 4 squares on the bottom, we do triage counseling. We deal with Spanish-speaking ELL students and parents. We deal with substance abuse, on-track programs, DHS, Department of Human Services, Job Council for Training, Maslow Project, GED students, homelessness, suicide, abuse, neglect, rape, weapons. We have campus resource police officers on all of our campuses, which are part of our day, every day as a counselor. We deal with transportation, meals, unemployment, underemployment, assessment, credit, and graduating testing, which is just a part of what we do. To continue to provide support and guidance to academic success, all of those things that I've listed are part of every day. School counselors are an integral part to the implementation of the initiative that you're bringing to us. Please recognize and include counselor in these conversations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to our concerns and our hopes and our dreams here in Southern Oregon. My name is Scott Perry, and I'm the superintendent of the Southern Oregon Education Service District. I know that you face a tremendous challenge implementing what is a very powerful vision for education in times of severe economic stress. And I don't envy you your job, but I tell you, I want you very much to succeed. I am interested in doing any work that I can to help this effort succeed. And as I try to think about what I can say to you that might be something that would be helpful, I want you to know that in Southern Oregon, I have had the experience that there are many people here who also want to be education to be successful and are working very hard together. In the last 10 days, I've been part of 4 different groups. One is the Southern Oregon Early Learning Services Group with early childhood educators from Josephine and Jackson County who have come together and are working hard on the vision, trying to understand and work together and figure out how to break down barriers and work together. The curriculum directors of the region I meet with on a monthly basis. With a small budget, they have done some very innovative things to really bring some effective professional development to the region. and working with Southern Oregon University. We've got a group called the Buck Stops Here Youth Services Group, Youth Success Initiative you'll be hearing more about, which I'm very excited about. And the superintendents of the school districts and all of the 4 higher education presidents came together last Monday to talk about how we can work effectively together on K-12 higher ed issues. So those things are happening. But one concern I have is that we be very careful about a large-scale removal of ESD funding support from our schools in order to accomplish the things that we've envisioned. In Southern Oregon, a full 90% of our general fund in our ESD goes directly to schools to provide necessary special education and technology support that districts in this region have prioritized. These services are vital to the point that if the ESD does not provide them, districts would have to provide them themselves, usually at a higher cost due to the loss of the regional advantage provided by the economy of scale the ESD provides. Sometimes people get a picture that an ESD exists as a separate entity with programs unto itself that are not part and parcel of the school system it serves, and that's not the case. I'm worried about a transfer of cost to districts if the ESD funds are removed for any other purpose. Thank you.
My name is Paul Fisher. I'm an instructor at Rogue Community College. Last week, Microsoft announced that it was looking for thousands of jobs, but couldn't find the workforce, the qualified, the educated workforce to fill those jobs. Those could have been our neighbors. Those could have been our friends, except we don't have the educational system put in place to bring companies to us, to make us a viable state. There's 3 different types of businesses. There's retail, there's service, and there's manufacturing. We need to focus on manufacturing. It brings the greatest amount of wealth to our region. Focusing on wealth building institutions is what's going to help us and push us along. There's a myth about community colleges, and that myth is that we have the ability to balance our budget based on tuition. And tuition has 2 detrimental effects. The first one is immediate. Students, you've heard them tonight, students have difficulty meeting their bills. The second detrimental effect is later on, after they're out of college. Those funds are being transferred out of our state. That's our wealth. It's going out. We need to stop that. Studies have shown that community colleges need over $510 million, and I'm asking for that number. It's important that we come back to a budget level that will make our community colleges work again.
30 seconds.
Thank you.
Kennedy? Question.
You said 90%. What's the special ed?
Technology.
Thank you.
Kit Kennedy, Kirk Gibson, Todd Merriman, and Juliette Long, please.
Hi, I'm Kate Kennedy, and I am a science teacher at Ashland High School. Like Hannah, I started teaching in the era right before Measure 5, and so I have experienced a huge increase in class sizes over my career. First 5 years of teaching 100 students with a normal load, 180. Now, many of my colleagues have over 200 students. So class size and base funding for education is critical. We know that we need to personalize instruction for every student so that every student is college and career ready. That is our goal. That is what we want to see happen. That is what we passionately work towards in education. It takes money. We want to see base funding for education restored. I believe we know in Oregon what a good education is. We have developed a quality education model that is very well research supported, and we need to be funded at that level that we can afford that model. I don't want to speak against any of the programs that are here. I think they are all amazing and valuable. I have a problem with the in lieu of funding. We need all of these things. We need early childhood education, we need reading readiness, we need parental involvement, but we need base level funding for education so that every student can be college and career ready. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kurt Gibson. I'm the Vice President of Instruction and Chief Academic Officer at Road Community College. As we begin the conversation and look at the language of 40-40-20 and begin to incorporate it into our conversations, it's very easy to begin to picture the educational roadmap with an entry point at kindergarten and an exit ramp at high school and another exit ramp at the associate degree and a following exit ramp at the bachelor's degree. The reality of the educational road is, however, much different than that map tends to imply. At Road Community College, we see about 20,000 students every year. Only about a third of those get on that traditional highway and start on the K, take an exit ramp at the high school, and continue on to an associate degree. The rest are exploring on-ramps and off-ramps of life and are coming back into education at many entry points and are exiting frequently to take care of matters of life and employment and finance. I think it's critical that we recognize that people are looking at education to scale up their current employment, to move from one job to a more powerful economic job for their families, to go back into perhaps the workforce after having been gone from the workforce for a long, long time. And it's easy to lose track of them if our language begins to build a highway with an entry point at K and an exit point at high school and an exit point at the associate degree. So I, from my VP chair, would encourage you to consider a model that recognizes a vital role for building on the many entries and exits that students make into the educational system. The community college system lives in that world, and that is where we fuel the economic engine of economic growth. I'd encourage you to consider a system that does not penalize the work that happens with multiple entry points and multiple exit points when that is actually the reality of the needs of the students we see. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Todd Merriman. I'm a graduate of Ashland High School, the University of Oregon, and now I'm a retiree. First of all, I applaud you for being here and doing this and for continuing to be able to take notes without writer's cramps and not have glazed over eyes. I'll be real brief. I just have 2 points of encouragement and a suggestion. First, I really support the concept of outcome-based funding. I think it's essential to get the public support that's necessary to be able to do all the things that you want to do. Second, I think the Oregon Reads initiative is of paramount importance. In my opinion, nothing is more important than having a literate population. I would just encourage you, by way of suggestion, to explicitly include writing as part of that initiative. In my years in the private sector, my impression is that the ability of our citizens to communicate in a cohesive, coherent, compelling way is declining at the very time we need to be improving in this area. So good luck and thank you.
Hi, my name is Juliet Long, and I'm an instructor at Road Community College, and I was also on the Governor's Task Force on Student Success in Higher Education. There's no way I could give you the list of reasons why I'm opposed to performance-based funding in 2 minutes, so I'm going to skip that one and take the email address on that one. But I would like to direct you to the report that we put together. I'm sure you all have copies of it. And please notice at the end of the report, we gave you a lot of examples of things that work, and none of those examples were tied to performance-based funding models. And we know it works. If you can give us the money, we can make it work. We want the same things that you want. We want our students to be successful. We want them to get jobs. We want you guys to get jobs. Thank you for being here. We all want the same thing. We want our educated population. We just can't afford to do it. So we don't need performance-based funding. We just need funding.
Roberto Gutierrez, Jim Fong,